On today's video, we're going to talk about shock valving. And what does all that stuff mean? You know, when you see the end of the shock, there's different numbers, and you know, what does all that mean? So on today's video, we're going to discover what the terminology on the end of the shock means. More on that when we come back. On today's video, we're going to cover shock valving, BSB shock valving. What does it mean when I get a shock? What does all this terminology mean? All this numbers, all this stuff. What does it mean? What does it mean for me? So today we're going to cover this. This is what you typically may see on the end of the box or on the paperwork. The shock will probably just have right front 175 backslash 130. But we'll go over what this means, the options, the different types of shocks, and what each corner's call-outs are all about. So let's get started on that. So, of course, everybody kind of understands what the right front is. Right front is the location. It'll be right front, right rear, left rear. The one, right front one indicates the bleed size. So there's going to be three bleed sides. There's going to be right front, a right front one, and a right front two, or a gorilla fist. Okay, so the right front one indicates that the bleed's been modified. It's a smaller bleed system than a standard shock. Slide malfunction. The 75 is the dyno number at 1 inch. Okay. When we dyno at 10 inches per second, the 1 inch number is 75. So as that number goes up 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, then the rebound in the shock goes up. Same thing on the left front, right rear. The backslash separates rebound from compression. We're rebound first, compression second, so this separates it. The 130 is compression, the compression side at 10 inches, okay? The 75 is what's important to the shock. So we call it out, that number, for what is important. The 130 is not so important, so we call out the high speed number to let you know what it is. SRT base valve, so this is where the options for the shock will come in. You can get just an SRT, you can get just a base valve, you can get them both together. When they're together, it's called an elite, but we'll put SRT base valve. And then finally, the gas pressure. On a base valve shock, our right front's going to be 35 pounds. On a non-base valve shock, it would be 100 pounds. Okay, so right front one, 75. As this number gets bigger, the rebound gets bigger. As this number gets bigger, the high-speed compression gets bigger. And of course, in a non-base valve shock, you're going to have to support your compression with gas pressure. Right front GF, 300 backslash 130. Now this is going into the next bleed size. Okay, so this is the smallest bleed size. The GF does stand for gorilla fist. It's just a term that we come up with for added strength, you know. So right front GF 300. If this was now since we've gone to a smaller bleed system, this is called out in a 0 point. So this number is a 0 point. This number is still the high speed compression. This number can vary from 200 to 800. And then there's a right front GF2 that's more powerful. So right now, about 98% of our stuff is a right front GF, not a right front GF2. So we're in this family. We're not in the extreme side of it. Left front 1-75, same thing. As the number here goes up, and what we're doing is we're calling out what's important. So on the left front, rebound. And this shock, rebound's what's important. This is the high-speed call-out, so this shock kind of falls into 6-3 family, but we're going to control this number. Okay, this is what we're after. So for us on the right front, rebound, the car's ability to turn center off is important. This number can run from 50, 75, 100, 125. And we can get into a left front GF, 300s. We do them fairly regular, so you can have good tie down on both the right front and the left front. Right rear 1-40 /110 SRT base valve. This is becoming a pretty popular shock. This is kind of our standard right rear. But here again, what's important on the right rear is the low speed rebound. So it's called out in a 40 number. This shock comes in a 40, 50, 60, 80, and 100. We have done some Gorilla Fist stuff on the right rear as requested. But typically we're going to put a little rebound in the right rear to get the car to rotate and get it around the corner. Now, here's where it gets a little messed up. Our system so far has been rebound compression, low speed rebound, high speed compression, okay? Because that's what's important on how they're called out. But the left rear, what's important on the left rear is compression. So here again, left rear 1, it's the medium bleed family. 50 is the 1-inch number of the compression stroke, okay? We're not even going to bother with calling out the rebound. So 50 is the 1-inch number, 500 is the 10-inch number, okay? So these numbers vary both in the 50 and the, so we do a 4350 up to a 75-550. Those are in the common shock families. And then we do some left rear 2s, which are very stiff left rears. Typically like a left rear 2 400, comes with a bypass, comes without a bypass, it comes either way. But you can do a bypass, an SRT, and a base valve in the left rear. So you have a little more options there. And the options are about, so here's the left rear 2, 400 SRT, bypass, okay? So the options are, and I hope you can see that. I don't know why the slides have decided today they're going to malfunction. So we're just going to power through this and get her done. But left rear 2, 400, you can get this in a 400, 500, 600. Very stiff shock for the left rear. It is a very stiff shock for the left rear, but it is a good piece if it's needed. So sometimes we have to have something to hold the left rear up really hard, and then that's what we'll do. Okay, so this is a small review of what our shocks stand for. Like I said, we're rebound first, compression second. We've started out like that way, we're always going to be that way. It's just what we are. Our number call outs, I feel like, are pretty simple. A lot of times you can find reference on the internet to this shock in a generic form. I have video of a universal shock valving chart, and that could be crossed over between different brands of shocks. So if you go to your builder and you say, I want a 8 compression, 2 rebound, and he says, well, what shock are you talking about? You might say like an Integra, an AFCO, or Bilstein. He can look on that chart and say, okay, this is what those numbers would be. This is what my numbers are. Okay, so I can build a shock in relationship to that. I'll try to put a link below in that, but if you have questions on shock valving, give us a call. If these videos are helping you, give us a share and a like. Help us grow the channel. Help us to be better. Give us ideas, comment on what you'd like to see more videos on. If you hang out to the end, we're going to do the end of the club. Customers are the end of the video gang. And I think we'll do some giveaways on that. So today's video, what those silly numbers are all about. Shock valving. As always, go fast, go left. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.